GoPro Karma is dead. GoPro has officially announced that they're leaving the drone market. So what does that mean for the Karma? They're canceling it. The Karma is dead. The Karma is done. Whatever materials they have left to make Karmas, they're gonna use all that up and they're gonna sell it. Most likely at a lower price. But after that, no more Karma business. Just to talk about GoPro a little bit, the reason why GoPro's failing is because their cameras that they made, these little tiny cameras that are waterproof, they can go underwater, they can capture your adventures while you're snowboarding, while you're swimming, while you're deep sea diving. Those are starting to be replaced. Back then when GoPro was first made, the Hero 2, 3, 4, 5, all those were so revolutionary because back then you couldn't take any camera with you that shoots 1080p 4K to go with you underwater, to go with you with your adventures. No phone could ever do that. No other portable camera could do that. But as years go by, the more GoPro's value and purpose goes down. Now with the iPhone 10 and Apple Watches and other Samsung phones, they're now waterproof. They have lenses that almost compare to the GoPro. So now you ask yourself, what's the point of GoPro? And because of all those smartphones, those smart watches that are waterproof, GoPro is starting to reduce its price for the Hero 5s, Hero 6, and it finally exited the drone business. Why do I say finally? Because we all saw this coming. Just to make the story clear, this is how it goes, the chronological story. The Hero 5, when it first came out, it didn't do well. Therefore, the Hero 6, when it came out, it didn't do well either. And because those two didn't do so well, they didn't have enough money to fund other projects. Mainly, the GoPro Karma drone. Therefore, they exited the business because they couldn't expand on the project of the GoPro Karma. I don't want to sound like a news anchor or sound like a news report, but I do want to state some facts. GoPro, their Karma was their best-selling, or the second best-selling drone back in September. Now, they're cutting a third of their workforce. And their stock went down 13%, decreased 13% last Monday. It's crazy. So why did this thing fail? I'm sure like most other Karma users, we all have our complaints, or anything with any technology that we have. We have complaints about our device. Opinion time. GoPro CEO, he didn't listen to the creators when creating his new drone. I'm here to point out some flaws for the Karma and why, in my opinion, it failed. Too many to list down, but I'll say my first reason. First off is the controller. Of course, this controller is great because you open it, you don't need an external screen, the screen is already there for you. But antennas, where's the antennas? The range for this is a big problem. I can only go 3,200 feet on an open area. That's barely 1 mile. Where are the antennas to boost my range? I want to go further with it. Problem number 2, the size. I'm not the one to compare again, but I have to compare since I'm comparing it with its competitor. Well, that's a lot. This thing is pretty big. It's thin, but it's wide and long. How can I fit this in my back? Well, I can't fit this in my backpack, but with its competitor, the Mavic Pro, it just fits in a box this big. This big. Look at that. This long and this big. There's no mobility at all. And this is the case that it comes in. You see this thing? Huge. That's the drone. That's the case. Huge. And if I don't want to take this thing, I'm gonna put it in my backpack. But that leaves the legs and the arms very fragile. I can't do that. I gotta keep it in the hard case. But the hard case is so big. Number 3, battery. See this thing? See the size of this thing? This is definitely way bigger than the battery for the Mavic. And yet the Mavic still flies longer. This probably only gets me, I'd say the max I've ever gotten with this thing is 18 minutes during flight. The Mavic, way longer than that. How can a battery so big, much bigger than the Mavics, last shorter? Just by looking at it, you'd think it'd fly longer. Those are the 3 big reasons off the top of my head why the Karma failed to its competitor, the Mavic Pro. Those 3 things are vital to a creator. You want to take it everywhere you go without it being a hassle. Mobility. Battery. You don't want to spend another $100 for another 18 minutes of flight. You want it all like in maybe 25 minutes. Battery size. Controller. Range. You want to go further. You want to capture more. Put some antennas here. And that's why I think the Karma failed. What does that mean for me with Karma? If you don't know my channel, if you don't know my videos, basically my most viewed videos are on the GoPro Hero 5 as a vlogging setup and the Karma drone, just unboxing it. What does that mean for me though, now that GoPro is planning to sell their company, now that GoPro is exiting the drone business, now that GoPro is reducing the costs of their products? Should I sell this? Should I keep it? Should I keep flying it? Should I sell it and get another drone? Honestly, it's too early to tell. But I've been thinking about this since yesterday, since the news broke out Monday. My first instinct was obviously to sell it, because GoPro's dipping, the Karma is being terminated, I gotta sell this. But I'm a person who's all for loyalty. I'm a person who's all for sticking with whatever you have and making the best out of it. So I'm gonna do that. But that's not really the reason of why I'm choosing to keep it. Why am I choosing to keep it? Maybe in the future, GoPro will discount the price of the Karma. Not the drone, but instead replacement parts or more batteries. That'll be probably at a discount. I hope, fingers crossed. Again, it's too early to tell, but I'm betting on that since I like GoPro. Sucks that they failed this bad. But I'm counting on them to step up from this. And to be honest, with the mobility thing, there are lots of workarounds. Instead of taking this hard-shelled bag, I can put this in my backpack and surround it with clothes that will absorb impact, so it doesn't loosen the arms and legs. That's a workaround. See, it's not that thick. It's very thin. It will stay thin in your backpack. And then you could definitely put the controller, the battery, and the charger along with it in the backpack. See, mobility issue, checked. Controller range, see, I'm not one for the drone to go far. I don't want it to go far. I want it in my range. I want to see it while I'm flying it, just as a safety precaution. If I want it to go further, I'll just go along with it. I'll just go over there so that it can capture more over there. Battery, it's dead. I forgot to charge it. 18 minutes, I feel like that's enough. What do you need more than 18 minutes for up in the sky? All you really need is about 1 minute to pan and see what you want. Get that view that you're trying to get. It takes about 1 minute. Your drone is not to shoot a time lapse up in the sky. And if you want it professional looking, just use the auto shot path. That'll save much more time than you trying to fly it around and try to figure out what you're doing. All three problems have a workaround. Solved. And that's why I'm keeping the Karma. I just hope that they'll discount all the replacement parts because I want more batteries. I'm glad they released a new software update that included the follow mode and the watch mode. Again, for comparing with the Mavic has a follow mode, or had a follow mode upon release. The GoPro, it took about a year and a half, no, I'd say a year, to come up with this follow mode. That's 1 whole year without it being able to follow you. But I'm glad they did it before they canceled it. I'm glad everyone, hopefully everyone, has the follow mode after the software update. But if there's one thing I wish the Karma had that it still doesn't have, that the other competitors do, is an obstacle sensor. I don't want to have to worry about this when I'm longboarding, when it follows me. I want it to know where to go so it doesn't crash itself onto a light pole, onto a tree. I want it to be smart, like the Mavic. I don't like comparing because I love the Karma, I love GoPro. But I don't want to lose it either. I wish it had an obstacle sensor. Just a side note for comparing the drone with the Mavic. There would definitely be an argument where you'd say, look at the Karma. Of course it has a big bag. It's wide, it's long, but it's thin. There are other drones out there like the Phantom that also require a big backpack. But then again, the competitor for the Karma is the Mavic. The Phantom was released 2 years before that. That's like comparing the PS2 with an Xbox One. That's like comparing a PS4 with an Xbox 360. Totally different generations. Times have changed. It's not really a fair comparison. That's like saying my PS4 doesn't really fit in my backpack because it's too big, while my PS2 Slim fits in like a charm. Again, different generation. You gotta compare your devices within the same generation. Karma with the Mavic. And that's why I only compared it with the Mavic in this video. The CEO of GoPro admitted that these recent events have been a wake-up call, have been a return to let's listen to what our creators want, let's listen to what our customers want, instead of how we want to fulfill ourselves with these kinds of devices. I think that's what they failed with the GoPro Karma. They didn't listen to the creators, they listened to themselves, and they wanted to put what they wanted, not what the creators wanted. And I feel like that's why it flopped. That's why it didn't succeed as much. They already had a plan for a next generation Karma drone, but then again, I'm still keeping this thing. I love it.